Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is a beer from Ommegang. This is their Brut IPA. Brut IPA everywhere. I'm doing all of them. And so it's actually really strange, Ommegang jumping on this bandwagon. More of like a traditional style Belgian brewery, and they're doing like hype new IPA style. Doesn't really make any sense, but I guess they're trying to stay relevant. So let's see how it turns out. Beer comes in at 6.3%. And yeah, wow, that is a light beer. That almost looks like grape juice, like white grape juice, or like a cloudy glass of white wine. That is as light, pretty much, as you can get. So beautiful light straw color, eggshell white head. It has beautiful carbonation on it, fluffy white head. It has medium haze to it. Yeah, actually not even like a haze. There's like chunkies in here. It's like very, very, very small chunkies causing the haze. Let's get the aroma. You know what? This one smells more hop forward. Okay. Yeah. This one does have a little bit of that AMG, the enzyme kind of note to it, which is a little bit strange. It's like, you know what it smells a little bit like? It smells a little bit like sometimes when you paint something and they finish it off and you sort of walk into a new room, it sort of has a little bit of that kind of thing going on. Yeah, but then it's also very sweet, and it's a little bit tropical, so it's a little bit like, yeah, it's a little bit different. It's peachy. But yeah, the hops actually play into this a little bit. I get a little bit of this kind of like light tart guava note. And like some lime as well. Yeah, quite nice. I'm liking it. I like the nose on this one. And this one is Best Buy about 4 months away. Cheers. So I assume about a month fresh. Okay, so this is the one that is the most carbonated of the Brut IPAs. This is what I imagine Brut IPA would taste like carbonation-wise, because there's a carbonic bite. So, you know, with carbonation, CO2, your tongue senses that as carbonic acid. And so it like digs into your tongue. So it's sort of like, there's a reason why you can't just chug a whole bottle of Coke or seltzer, or, you know, you try to chug some champagne and get the little tingles and everything. Beer can do that at high enough volumes of CO2. Oh, that's awesome. See, this is what I wanted from a lot of Brut IPAs. I wanted that carbonic bite. And they're doing it correct with this thick Belgian Ommegang bottle. This is the Belgian kind of like, is it a 12 ounce? What is this? It's a 12 ounce, but it's sort of like that, like 375 kind of like thick Belgian glass kind of bottle. And I assume that's part of the reason why it holds up to the CO2. And also they just like, by the way, they bottle conditioned this for 2 weeks before release. And so I guess they had really amped up the CO2 on this one. It's really nice. Like, this is where I expected the style to hit. On the flavor, get a little bit of that enzyme kind of quality to it. It's not that hoppy, but it's nice and dry. You know what? That's what it is. Like, it actually doesn't need to be that hoppy up front. Obviously, it would be better if it was a little bit more aromatic and a little bit more hop character to it. But the fact that this has that kind of biting, sharp carbonation that you might get from something like bottle fermented saison, or what a lot of people are doing with wild ales these days, and Hefeweizen. Like, when you get like that really bright, kind of lively carbonation. Again, it's Brut IPA. It's supposed to be like champagne, and it builds this beautiful head, and the carbonation is rising here, and it builds a wonderful head, and just spritzy and lively. Yeah, that's what I want. And actually, it actually also returns to some Belgian brewery, these like bottle fermented beers. Think of something highly carbonated like Duvel. That's why. That's where the connection makes so much sense. It's a little hoppy like Duvel. It doesn't have the yeast character, obviously. Like, there's really not much yeast character here. But it has that lively carbonation. It's nice and dry beer. That's the analogy to make with this one. It's like a hoppy Duvel. But Duvel is actually pretty hoppy. At least the triple hop versions. That's the analogy. It's like a dry Duvel with less yeast character and a little bit more hoppiness. Yeah. Perfect. A little bit of cracker malt in the middle. It's beautifully carbonated and it's dry. Oh, it's actually like even more carbonated and doable. It almost has like this kind of like seltzer kind of carbonation that like sort of taxes it out. Yeah, I imagine maybe this fresh would have been better, and you hopped it a little bit more. Boom, that's where Brut IPA makes sense to me. So this is finally a trigger where I'm like, wow, Brut IPA makes sense because it has this carbonation. It's sort of like scrubs on the tongue, and it's light and it's dry, and the malt sort of doesn't get in the way. And if you made this a little bit more hoppy, then I really see where this shines. Still, I like this. This is like table beer. You know, it has a good amount of alcohol behind it, 6.3%, but it has that beautiful carbonation that it can just like go through so much. And instead of like using something like champagne, you can use something like Brut IPA, and this bottle specifically does that. So I really like this one. This one for me is getting 91. 91 Ommegang's Brut IPA. Absolutely fantastic. Finally, where it makes sense, where triggers, where instead of a beer being slightly hoppy, but like not hoppy as an IPA, aromatically and flavor wise, and then it has that weird AMG kind of like enzyme note to it. This one hides it a little bit better, and then like they're a little bit flat on carbonation, and it's just like, why am I drinking this? And then finally I get the carbonation that I'm looking for, and the beautiful, like you can just see the beautiful head being created with this beer and the beautiful carbonation rising out of the glass, and really none of the malts getting in the way, and it's a little bit hoppy, but it's like beautifully sharp and acidic with its carbonation. It's absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see more beers like this. So this is like, I thought I was done. Now I'm like sort of back into it. I hope more breweries do stuff like this. Until next time, guys, cheers. Let me know when if you've gotten this realization about Brut IPA. Later.